Hey guys, hope I'm catching you all on a great day and welcome to another qmoniep build video. And this one is whatever you guys want to call it. It could be the lazy kill build, the easy kill build. It's definitely interesting, but I'll go ahead and let you guys take care of that for me in the comment section. But the main component of this build is the Fatebound Spearhead. Haven't saw any builds with this online, haven't saw anyone use it. I guess it's not too appealing. The primary reads, while you have more than 2,000 overhead, shoot a projectile every 3 seconds that deals 15,383 water damage. I'll go ahead and show some footage of how that looks. It's definitely not appealing. As I mentioned, it doesn't have any type of awesome animations. It doesn't look, have an explosion or anything that would attract anyone, but it actually is a little viable. I was actually able to get it over 100,000 damage, and you can imagine if you're hitting over 100,000 damage every 3 seconds, that's nothing to scarf at. After tinkering with a few different builds and a few different valor plates, I was able to get that done, and I'll go ahead and show you how some of the things I used to get it that high. Alright, so the main component we're going to need for this is the Sword of Creation. So the primary on this reads, whenever you consume chill, you gain a frost charge that grants 47% water damage, and you get a maximum of 4 charges. Now remember guys, those projectiles we're going to be shooting are dealing water damage, so for every frost charge we get, we're going to be dealing more and more water damage with the projectiles we're going to be shooting. And as I mentioned, I tried this on a few different valor plates. The reason I decided to go with Typhon is because he automatically inflicts chill with his shield whenever he throws it in a circle. You don't have to add any extra items or anything to get that. And of course we would want to add Qaeda when you think about it, to go ahead and get a shield charge as fast as possible. We aren't able to do that because of something else we have to get done, but I'll get to that when we get into the augment section. So I decided to go with the Armorer's Amulet. So the primary here reads, whenever you perform a crit hit with the shield throw, we gain 56% shield charge. So that's going to help us out with our shield charge. So we can do that repeatedly and go ahead and throw the shield and consume it. And we could easily get 4 frost charges with 1 shield throw and consuming the enemy's hit with that, guys. And by the way, the secondary traits we're going to look out for is mainly crit hit chance. You're also going to want element power if that comes up, or water damage. You're also going to want weapon tech charge speed, because we won't be running the Lion Talisman. And the second weapon we're going to be running is Sunflare Destiny, but mainly we want that primary. Whenever you soul shatter an enemy, unleashes a shockwave that deals X amount of water damage to enemies in front of you and reveals their weak points. That's because we're going to be doing water damage naturally, guys, so anything with water damage will work there. And as for the rest of the equipment we're going to be using, it's pretty much going to be the same as the original Typhon build. We're going to be using the Heavenly Reversal for our time and attack to go ahead and consume elements. Again, you want secondaries there as element power. You can't get crit hit chance on the ring, but element power and weapon tech charge speed is probably the main 2 things you want to look for there. We're also going to be using the Eye of the Dragon, so we go ahead and get overhealth whenever we defeat an enemy that's afflicted with the element. Again, we will be able to benefit from the Makole's Hell, but at the same time we will still get a lot of kills that are from enemies that are ailment inflicted. We won't necessarily just be doing consumption, so it will work, guys. We're also going to be using the Entropic Moon Drop again for our life stone. This is going to give us water damage whenever we pop a life stone. Secondaries there, we have damage to chilled enemies, element power of course, and crit hit chance of course. We're also going to be using the Plague Pendant. You guys know all about that by now. We're going to get that element power from that Plague Pendant. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at the detailed stat sheets. First thing you might notice is we aren't able to get our resistances up high as possible. That's for a few different reasons, but number one, that's why we weren't able to use the Qaeda, and we went with the amulet that I showed you guys. But you're definitely going to want that water resistance up to 60% if possible, and that's for one of the augments we got. You guys might know which one I'm talking about, but I'll go ahead and show you that in a second. Also, you want that crit hit chance up high as possible. Have mine at 62%, but it's possible to get it up to 70 or higher depending on what you guys are doing. All right, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the augments. I'm going to go ahead and show them backwards just to kind of show you guys the augments we're using and how they work together, how you want those lined up. We're going to go ahead and start with the vitalities first. We're going to be using Fortitude for our overhead retention. You're definitely going to want that, because to utilize the amulet we're using, you definitely want to get that overhead high as possible, and you want to keep it there. So this is going to kind of contribute to that, guys, and give us some overhead retention. You could throw overhead gain gain as a secondary. You also can throw overhead gain or retention on the Eye of the Dragon ring on the front part of our equipment, but here's a good place too. I would also throw resistances to all there. That will help us, guys. Next, you guys might have guessed it, we're going to be using Void Shell. So this is going to give us overhealth every time we perform a crit hit for every 20 might on adjacent augments. I was able to get it at 162. Definitely could get that higher with Hinterclaw, but with Typhon that'll work for us. Our secondaries we're going to want is Element Power, water damage if you see that, guys, but also overhealth gain and resistances to all. I have fire damage, don't need that obviously, guys. So but next we're going to be using the Glamour. So this is going to give us 89% damage for each element type on the enemy if at least 2 adjacent augments are green. You definitely can find one that's higher if you get a primal one, but that's the one, you know, had the best secondaries on it for the build. But the secondaries I found are water resistance, don't need void resistance, but you're definitely going to want might to contribute to that void shell. Water resistance is just going to help us with one of our other augments we'll get to in a second. Next, vitality, our last vitality, we're going to be using Rift. So this is of course going to just give us extra damage for each element. You want to look out for Element Power and resistances to all, or you can look out for water damage. By the way, if I haven't mentioned it already, you definitely want to get water damage as high as possible. I would say balance it out, because once you get to higher tier enemies, you won't be able to just kill them alone off of water damage. You could do a lot of damage to them, but the Element Power is how you're going to compensate for that, guys. So make sure you take down those higher tier enemies. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the might augments. We're going to be using the Force of Nature first of all. So this is going to give us some weapon tech charge. Every time we defeat an enemy, we're going to be defeating enemies fairly easily, so this will work for us. And also we won't have the Lion Talisman, so this is one way we're going to get our weapon tech up. Secondaries I have there are water damage doubled out, guys. That definitely will work for this build, but if you also see Element Power, you could throw that in as well. Next might we're going to be using is Paradise. Of course, again, this is something to give us our weapon tech since we won't have the Lion Talisman. This is going to give us 21% weapon tech charge speed for 10 seconds whenever we perform a crit hit. We're definitely going to be doing some crit hits, guys, so that's going to work for us. Secondaries we have here are water damage, and I put Spirit. You don't have to put Spirit, but definitely you want that water damage or again that Element Power. Next, let's go ahead and move on to the Spirit augment. So we're going to be using Mist Bell. So if you have 60% or more water resistance, you apply extra stack whenever you inflict chill on an enemy that has 5 or more chill stacks. We're going to be able to do that fairly easily. It's not going to be too hard, especially with the shield. So we come across bosses, we're going to inflict it with the shield, going to increase at least 4 with our sword, then you switch to your other weapon. Of course, you're going to be doing double stacks after that, guys, so it can work for us. The secondaries we want there are Element Power, water damage, of course, and we want that might to boost up that void shield. And next Spirit we're going to be using is Ardor. So we're going to get 3% shield damage for every 20 Spirit on adjacent augments. This is just secondary, guys, so it's going to help us with our shield damage. My secondaries I have there are Element Power and shield damage, but definitely if you find something with water damage and Element Power, I would choose that over the shield damage. This is just one I had from a previous build and it turned out it worked, so we went with that there, guys. And last but not least, our next Spirit augment is Enchanted Tear. We get 77% chill duration, so yours might get a little more, but you know, I was able to work with that. It had the secondaries I needed, so 77% chill duration. It's going to negate our Archon Fury charge, of course, but that's not a big deal. Secondaries we have there are water damage. You got that doubled out, of course, but again, if you guys see Element Power, you could go ahead and throw that in there as well. Okay, and next let's go ahead and take a look at the skill tree. Of course, I recommend maxing out our shield throw so you can have that spectral shield throw. That definitely is going to help with consumption and things of that nature. Also shield prime. As my previous build I mentioned, you don't need shield attacks up unless you want that shield damage up, but we're going to be depending on majorly like water damage and Element Power, so you don't have to worry about shield damage that much, but it is viable if you choose to do so. Other than that, definitely weapon techs and timing. You can use this to go up to level 2 with the timing, but you should be good with 1. We're going to be doing most of the timing attacks with shield, so that's not necessarily important. And here's a look at my Ascension level if you guys want to check that out. As always, guys, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know some things that you would change. If you do try the build, go ahead and let me know what you changed on it. Let me know how it worked out for you, things like that. Definitely, again, I always want to engage with you guys and kind of see where you guys are at with it. If you guys have any ideas for another build, go ahead and shoot it down there. I do have an idea for the next build I'm going to do. I don't want to do a teaser because it is subject to change, so I'm not sure about it just yet, but I actually have a few on mine. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I thank you for giving me your time today. If you love seeing this type of content, you want to see more, definitely go ahead and consider subscribing. I appreciate it. It definitely helps me out, guys. As always, like, comment, share. I definitely appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a great rest of your day.